AC plumbing. I figured I'd just make this video just simply because, one, I'm bored and it could be kind of useful to some people who might not know how to do this, but most people in the toilet community probably know what I'm doing. Today, I'm going to change the wax ring out on this toilet. So, basically this is for people mainly who don't know how to do this, but some people might. You want to turn off the water to the toilet first. You want to flush the toilet and hold the handle down. Try to get as much water as possible out of the tank. Then what you want to do, grab a bucket and you want to take a sponge and sop up the water from the tank. This tank water is kind of dirty, but yeah. Try to get as much water. I think that's as much as I really want to get out of it. Now, then what you want to do is take the supply line off. Kind of like that. Alright. The next thing you want to do, now this is optional. You don't have to do this, but you can. And I'm going to because it makes this a whole lot easier. You want to take a wrench. Hold on. And this is also, I highly suggest this because this makes it a lot easier to move the toilet. Want to take the tank bolts off. This makes it so much easier. Most toilets have 2 bolts holding the tank to the bowl. In this case, this is a Kohler, so it's got 3. This makes it a whole lot easier to do this. This is something, it doesn't take super long to take the tank off. Trying to You can use a socket wrench too, that'll work. And it looks like this tank has a little bit of water in it still, so until it's kind of leaking. This is mainly just for people who don't necessarily know how to do this, but people also might find that it's interesting. So then what you want to do, I'll put the camera down for this. Hold the bottom of the tank, and it comes off usually relatively easily. I'll just dump the water from this toilet tank into the sink, just simply because it makes this a lot easier. Now this is the part. Now this is just the toilet actually the toilet, just one of the toilets in my house. This is not my bathroom, but it's just one of them. This toilet rarely gets used, but you want to pry the bolt caps off like that. Or, oh, this one looks really badly rusted. Yeah, that's not good. Want to pry those off. Then this is actually where a pair of pliers actually really comes in handy. I want to take a pair of channel locks. I'm going to take these bolts off. Just grab a pair of channel locks and they come off. These bolts come off pretty easily. Then what you want to do is you can do the same. This bolt is kind of rusted, but this one, actually it's more the washer that's rusted on this one, but still. Usually I don't have any new bolts to put on this, but generally speaking, I highly recommend replacing the bolts if they're this rusted. Oh my gosh. And on occurrence, these shut-off valves might not shut the actual water off all the way, so a lot of times what you want to do is put them in it. Yeah, some of these shut-off valves don't. Now what you want to do is gently kind of rock the toilet back and forth a couple times. And this one looks like, then I'm going to put, then it should come right off. Yep, this one was definitely leaking a little bit, I think. See how this one, I know why, and interesting tip, I actually know why this one was leaking. See how it's got this plastic funnel right here? Every time you flush the toilet, if you got one of these with a funnel, sometimes they don't, when the wax deteriorates, every time you flush it, it hits the funnel and splashes out. And I've actually had this issue several times before, so I know. What you want to do is, then you want to scrape the wax off with a putty knife. I actually didn't even drain the water out of the bowl, though. When you're replacing a wax ring, sometimes it's good too, but you don't necessarily have to. If you're replacing the toilet, then it's best to get the water out. Just scrape the wax off with a putty knife. Usually works best for this. Probably want to be wearing gloves too. I'm just using them. Actually, we'll take this. Let me see. Hold on. Let me grab a glove. So as you can see right here, we're just scraping that wax ring off. This is what I'm gonna do. Usually I use a putty knife for this, but you can just pull the, I'm gonna pull this plastic funnel out. Just pull the plastic. See this right here? That's why it was leaking. Whereas the new one I bought doesn't have that. It's just wax. If you buy one like that, you're not gonna have that issue as much. And just continue scraping that wax off this flange. I buy almost exclusively ones without the funnel. I've just found the ones with the funnel not to work as great. Not only, I got my advice from both the plumber and myself because I have had issues with these type of wax rings a lot occasionally. They usually last about 2 years and then I need to replace them, which is actually about how long this one's been installed. Let me try to get the wax off this. So what you want to do is
just use a putty knife to scrape the wax off. It works the best if you use a putty knife usually.
You don't necessarily need to throw the gloves away after you're done. Probably. That's just what I've found. I haven't found. Now, a lot of people think. Trying to get the wax off this glove. Keep holding the.
I don't care if this putty knife gets a ton of wax on it. That's what I got it for, literally, for scraping the wax off toilet flanges. That's literally the whole reason I got this thing.
It was for the explicit purpose of scraping wax. Toilet flanges. I'm trouble getting this wax ring off. Hold on. I might just use a bit of toilet paper to take the wax ring off. Putty knife. Oh shoot, I just touched the wax accidentally. Yeah.
You want to finish, you want to get as much of the wax off as you can. And this is a really weird toilet flange setup. This is the first, like, out of all toilet flanges I've seen, this is like the weirdest, pretty weird setup.
The reason I say that is because of the way the pipe is, like, because it's a brass toilet flange. And our house, I believe, was built in 2007. We haven't been living in it since then, but it was built in 2007, so 2006 or 2007, either of those two, I don't know. So not super old necessarily, but
Built in 06 or 07. But look at this pipe. I don't know what the heck this is. Right here, is it like, I think it's probably, I mean, it can't be lead. Surely it's not lead or anything.
it kind of looks like it though.
Now, I'm just trying to, I think I'm, you want to get this as clean as possible. You don't have to get
You want to get most of the wax off, or at least most of it. You don't have to necessarily get every last bit of it off.
Yeah, this has got tons of wax. There's tons of wax on it, so this wax isn't coming off as easily as I want it to, but it's not a big deal. I'm just trying to get most of the wax off, like, so that it's not a pain to get the new wax seal on. Just wax.
I bought this wax ring from Lowe's. Not the new one.
The old one I put in was from Lowe's. Yeah, that doesn't smell great. Scented smells really kind of awkward. I don't know what that smell is. Could be something bad. Yeah, sorry this is taking so so long. Yeah, it was definitely leaking though, because I see a little bit of liquid on this wax ring. So yeah, it was definitely leaking a little bit. Glad I'm replacing it, so because it was definitely leaking a tiny bit. Sorry if it's kind of hard to see. It's hard to hold the camera and film at the same time. I'm gonna clean this wax up afterwards, like all this wax. All right. I think I've gotten as much wax off as I really feel that's necessary, so I think maybe I'm gonna put the camera down. What I'm gonna do now is clean that putty knife off real quick, because I use that for too much. I bought it because I just want it to be as clean as possible. I think that's good. Now, what you want to do now is, here's actually something that really will come in handy when you're getting a wax ring. So, you want to buy one like this that is just plain wax. You don't want the one with the funnel, because if you get the one with the funnel, if you get one that's just basic wax like this, the toilet, when it flushes, the water's just going to go down to the pipe. Whereas if you get one with the funnel and the wax deteriorates, it hits that funnel and splashes out and it leaks on the floor, which was the issue we were having this time. So that's one tip that really might come in handy for some of y'all guys. It probably will for pretty much everyone. It really works for me. And oh, there's one of the tank bolts. I can't lose that. That's not good. Actually, before I do anything else, make sure I'm not sitting the toilet on anything. So my personal preference is to put the wax ring on top of the closet flange like that. That's just my personal preference. But for some people, some people choose to put it on the bottom of the toilet bowl. My personal preference, on the other hand, is just put it on the closet flange. So let me set the phone down. I put the toilet back on. Alright, so now I might just. So what you want to do. Now keep in mind, you might want someone to help you put the toilet on. You know. This is heavy. You want to mainly just make sure, and then you want to just press down on the toilet like that. Just push down on the toilet, and that should be good enough to seal the wax ring. Do not rock the toilet, or else it will break the wax seal. So be sure not to rock the toilet or move it at all. It's okay if you move it a tiny bit, but try not to move it at all, because you can break the seal. It might. It's okay if you accidentally move it a tiny bit, but you don't want to move it a ton. Like, don't rock it back and forth, or front to back because you will end up causing a leak. Well, maybe not with one without the funnel, you might not cause a leak, but if you have a wax with the funnel, you will most definitely cause a leak. Yeah. Glad I caught that leak a little early because we've had issues having water damage because of like at our house, and leaks like that. Those kind of toilet leaks only make it worse. Like this is a weird setup for this bolt. It's got a wing nut. I did that. I wanted to see how that will work, but I'm going to try to get that as tight as possible. Now you want to hand tighten them first, and then normally what you want to do is you want to tighten it down again. I'm gonna you want to just tighten it down a little bit, like and kind of like that. Tighten it down, and want to just make sure as much as you can. You want to don't tighten it down too tight because you can crack the toilet. And I think that's good. So then you want to put the toilet bolt caps on. However, do keep in mind, if you did replace the toilet floor bolts, they may be too long for the toilet bolt. They can and will be too long for the caps to cover them. So do keep that in mind. Now I'm going to put the toilet tank back. Then what you need to do is put the toilet tank back on. Alright. Oh shoot. Ah, dang it. Don't worry, nothing went wrong. I just accidentally squished my hand a little bit because the freaking. Oh, hold on, this is one of the rusted washers. I really needed to get that washer replaced, that rusted one. That was not good. You want to just tighten the tank. Now what you want to do is, if you did this, you want to reattach the tank. Which is what I'm doing. Now with these toilet tanks, you want to be sure to tighten them with a wrench, because usually hand tightening these is not enough to get the gasket, the tank to bowl gasket sealed, or anything on the tank sealed. It might be enough to get just the gasket, the spongy gasket sealed, but it's not going to be enough to get the rubber washers that seal the bolts inside the tank. It's not going to seal those. It'll seal the sponge gasket most likely, so as some people call it, or the tank to bowl gasket, if you just tighten them hand tight, but it won't seal anything else inside the tank. So yeah. Also, do keep in mind, on toilet wax ring replacements, you don't necessarily always have to drain the bowl. You probably should, because otherwise you might get water all over the place, but I didn't. You don't necessarily have to. Oh, and I notice this toilet's still a little wobbly, so we'll have to tighten it down a little bit. We'll have to tighten this down a little bit, though. This. Be sure not to tighten it. Don't over tighten it, but you want to make sure it's tight, because it's moving a ton. It's still moving a little bit, dang it. I don't care that much, just as long as it's not leaking. I want to get it as tight as I can, because I don't want this thing to break at the same time, because this toilet is worth, it's like $1,000. Is it the flange bolts? Or is it the toilet? Feels like it just might be the flange. It's not mounted tightly enough, because, oh shoot. Oh, that's not good. Okay, I didn't crack the toilet. Oh no. I just broke the bolt off. That's not good. Or did I? Okay, I didn't crack the toilet somehow. I think the toilet's just proven itself to be stronger than these bolts. Because I think I just broke one of them. Not the toilet flange bolt, but the floor bolt. Let's see, is that actually... Did I actually just break one of these? Nah, surely not. Okay, yeah, that's definitely not the toilet. It's definitely the floor bolt. That's not compliant. That definitely did something to the floor bolt. That's what I can tell you, because it was not that wobbly before. I think I just broke the floor bolt that was holding the toilet, not even the toilet, because it would have been a lot louder if I cracked the toilet. And it's spinning a ton, so yeah, definitely something happened to the floor bolt. Alright, well, I'll worry about that later. We'll see. I'll worry about that later. Yeah, we'll have to do that. I'll worry about something like that later. Let's see if I can pull the... I think we'll be fine with what we got now. Just tighten it down. Yeah. Something's definitely wrong with this, definitely off with this closet bolt. Something's definitely not right. Like, this thing tight. Yeah. Oh well. It's not that big of a deal. It's probably gonna have to be corrected eventually, but for now it's fine. Yeah. It's probably gonna have to be corrected sometime soon, but I don't have a set of closet bolts as of right now. But that's one example of probably why you just want to, regardless of the condition of the closet bolts, you probably just want to replace them regardless. Now what you want to do is put the supply line back on the toilet tank. Hold on. Oh, hold on, that supply line's... Let me just get a pair of pliers to tighten that. It's hard to tell. Oh, dang it. What's wrong? What the heck is wrong with this supply line? Supply line broke or something? Put this on. Yeah. Alright, well, so what you do from here, because I only need to get a new supply line too, it looks like. Basically what you do from here is you fill the tank up, check for leaks, tighten it wherever you can, or get new parts if it's leaking. You flush the toilet a couple times, check for leaks around the base, and that's about it. But that is it. Thank you for watching.